Welcome to the Dungeon Brew Coffee Tavern, where every cup tells a story, and every story starts with a sip. Join us on a journey of adventure, camaraderie, and of course, the finest brews, served hot and steeped in mystery. From dragons to ancient legends, we're brewing up more than just coffee. Today's tale begins, where the fire's crackling, the mugs are full, and the stories are questionable at best. Tonight, our unlikely adventurers gather not to quest, but to remember, or perhaps imagine, a few questionably true, wildly entertaining tales. From spectral soup and spicy socks, to airborne sloths and sideways feathers, each tale is taller than the last, and none of them come with proof. Now, grab your mug, settle in, and get ready for the next chapter in our brewing saga. Episode 18: Mugs, Myths, and Maybe Truths. Part 1. The fire's crackling, the mugs are full, and the stories are questionable at best. Today, our unlikely adventurers gather not to quest, but to remember, or perhaps imagine, a few questionably true, wildly entertaining tales. From spectral soup and spicy socks, to airborne sloths and sideways feathers, each tale is taller than the last, and none of them come with proof. Bradicus slams down his mug with flair, foam sloshing over the edge.
All right, gather close, ye scoundrels, skeptics, and sippers of suspicious teas, for I've got a tale that'll pickle your brain and marinate your very soul. It began, as most noble quests do, with a goose. Not just any goose, mind you, but one wearing a monocle and muttering about unpaid rent. Naturally, I followed it. I mean, wouldn't you? Never trust a goose with secrets in its eyes.
Java perks up. Patches raises a skeptical brow. The group of friends are already gathered. However, anticipation rises as they wait for Bradicus' story.
So there I was, knee-deep in the belching bog. A place that smells like regret and cabbage stew left out during a thunderstorm. Every step, the ground farted at me in protest, squelch, blurp, blap. It was like dancing across a swamp with digestive issues. Right in the middle of that blessed marsh was this beanstalk. A colossal thing, glistening with swamp mist and guarded by, get this, accordion-playing toads. They challenged me to a musical duel, which I won using nothing but armpit squeaks and interpretive eyebrow movements.
No one believes that.
That's because you don't practice your eyebrow flexing, lad. They let me pass, and up I went, climbing the stalk into the sky like a noble bean-born hero. On the way up, I encountered a rogue guild of hummingbirds distilling illegal hot sauce midair. Had a sample. Burnt my tongue, saw my future, tasted like cinnamon vengeance.
What did your future look like?
Mostly just me. Handsome. Surrounded by adoring fans. And on fire. I think that's metaphorical. Next, a sky raccoon, pirate hat, eye patch, smelled like moonshine and betrayal, tried to trade me cursed socks for tax advice. I told him, only fools file during a meteor retrograde, and he vanished in a puff of glitter and overdue paperwork.
What does that even mean?
Exactly. Finally, I reached the top, a floating kingdom ruled by the pickle lord of chrono cucumbers. Big fella. Jar for a head. Smelled. Vinegary. He'd pickled last Tuesday, and the timeline was caught in a briny loop. Tea times were repeated. Cookies never baked fully. Chaos. He challenged me to battle, 8 minutes of furious dill-fueled combat. We fought with spears, wit, and interpretive shadow puppets.
You just said shadow puppets.
You've clearly never fought in the Sky Pickle Wars, lad. In the end, I used my ultimate technique, the celestial beard braid of distraction, and recited the most confusing monastic limerick in all existence. There once was a monk from the bog, who spoke in a philosophical fog. He wrestled with time, in a pickle of lime, and emerged with a prophecy log. The pickle lord short-circuited. The loop broke. I slid down the beanstalk with nothing but a jar of sky mustard, a glowing prophetic pickle, and the knowledge that I'd save snack time for generations to come.
He reaches into his pouch and pulls out a softly glowing green pickle. He sets it on the table and it hums ominously.
Ask it your questions if ye dare. But be warned, it only answers in riddles, and sometimes in limericks. It's as cryptic as fate.
You were only gone 3 hours.
Time's weird when it's brined.
That story had more vinegar than logic.
What happened to the toads?
Oh, they're fine. They run a very successful herb shop now. But speaking of leafy greens, have I ever told you about the time I got roped into an underground cabbage smuggling ring led by sentient root vegetables with a questionable understanding of fashion law? So there I was, stranded in the middle of Cabbage Crater, surrounded by carnivorous mist and ghost chefs with unfinished recipes.
Wait, Cabbage Crater? Why would anyone go there on purpose?
Didn't go on purpose. I was tracking a band of outlaw alchemists who owed me 17 silver and a goat with a gambling problem.
You tracked them into a crater haunted by ghost chefs?
Exactly. I followed the scent of regret and overcooked stew until the sky itself turned greenish-purple with flavor residue. Then I heard it. The ladle of doom.
What does a ladle of doom sound like?
Clunk. It echoed like judgment across the marshy land. And there they were, 5 spectral chefs floating above a giant cauldron, chanting in forgotten broths.
Did you say broths?
I did. The ancient kind. The kind that whisper in your dreams and demand time.
Oh no. No puns. We're not doing that.
They challenged me to a culinary duel. Me, a warrior monk trained in the monastery of simmering silence. I had no choice, I accepted.
Do you even cook?
Only with fire, instinct, and the haunting memory of my uncle's breakfast burritos.
I'm sorry, what monastery was this again?
The Sacred Order of the Simmering Spoon. East of North Slightly Sideways Peak. Very exclusive.
Did they actually have a building or just a soup pot over a log?
Both. So there I stood, 1 ladle against 5, my beard braided tight to keep out cabbage spirits. My challenge? Brew a stew that could soothe a banshee's ulcer. The stakes? If I lost, they'd turn me into a garnish.
That's oddly specific.
They'd done it before. I saw a parsley ghost.
Too much ghost pepper.
First, I summoned the secret ingredient, phantom leeks. Only bloom during emotionally intense thunderstorms.
And you just had those?
Harvested them during my week-long duel with the Thunder Nuns of Raindrop Ridge. But that's another tale.
No, please, focus. What was in the stew?
1 toe of ogre root. 2 tears of a disappointed librarian. And a single drop of moonlight vinegar aged in a barrel cursed by romance gone wrong.
That sounds either poisonous or oddly romantic.
Both. Like me. We stirred. We tasted. We wept. In the end, my stew made the lead ghost chef sob uncontrollably and briefly rejoin the mortal realm to hug his ghost mom. I won.
What was the prize?
A wooden spoon that only stirs truths. And a ghost chili so spicy it haunts your dreams.
And where's that spoon now?
I used it once. It told me I shouldn't have had a 3rd bowl of stew. I banished it immediately.
Bradicus, do you ever tell a story that's just normal?
If you wanted normal, you'd have befriended a hedge wizard with a day job.
The tavern crew chuckles from the spectral soup story. Java cuddles up with his mug. Nivet has acquired a biscuit from somewhere, and Fate pretends not to be amused. Bradicus is clearly ready to burst into his next tale, until Patches gives him a side-eye sharp enough to slice cheese.
Hold on, Bradicus. I've got one that fits better between whispering soup and fruit-flavored prophecy.
You mean to delay my tale of airborne enlightenment?
Yes. You'll live. Probably.
Bradicus sighs dramatically and collapses back into his chair, muttering about chronological injustice. Patches, unfazed, pulls her legs up beneath her and begins.
Started in a swamp. Obviously. These things always do. I was helping a small village that bordered the swamp of perpetual sniffles. Yes, that's the actual name, and no, it doesn't ever fully dry up. Everything's damp. Even the dreams are soggy there. They'd summoned me to treat what they called a giggle plague. Everyone infected couldn't stop laughing. First it sounded harmless, until I got there and found 3 people collapsed in a puddle, literally convulsing with laughter because a frog blinked in a funny way. And then there were the leeches. They were about the size of my thumb, faintly purple, and latched onto anything warm-blooded. But instead of draining energy, they gave it back. Wrong. Overcorrected. Hyperjoy. They were magically enchanted to stimulate the humor center of the brain. I found a man laughing at a tree stump for 3 days straight. The stump had no joke to tell. I checked.
Why would anyone enchant leeches to spread laughter?
Some amateur alchemists thought laughter cured curses. She'd made them to treat gloom in goats. Didn't realize humans and goats don't share a nervous system.
I bet she used powdered moonroot instead of distilling it first.
She used blue moonroot during a thunderstorm while emotionally compromised. Anyway, I had to wrangle the leeches, create a reverse potion, and cure the village before someone died giggling over a lopsided potato. And then, as I was packing up to leave, one of the leeches looked me straight in the eye and snorted. I swear, a perfect little ha-ha through its weird, squishy body. Then it wriggled away.
Wait. It laughed at you?
Mocked me like a tiny wet jester. And that's why I never trust anything that lives in a swamp and finds me funny.
Oh, Patches, that is glorious. Squishy giggle demons. An excellent amuse-bouche before the main course.
What could possibly top cursed leeches?
Friends, prepare yourselves for sky-dwelling sloths, marmalade made of visions, and the bird who nearly rewrote history with a monocle and misplaced ambition.
He cracks his knuckles. The group settles in once more. The saga continues as Patches sets her mug down with a soft clink. The room is quiet for a moment, half from disbelief.
Wait, the soup screamed when the ghost touched it?
It also wept during full moons and once predicted a divorce between two Bovinians.
Honestly, I would have eaten it anyway.
You did eat it.
And I regret nothing. Except maybe the part where it tried to read me.
Haunted soup is child's play. A meal's not really dangerous till it talks back in ancient celestial script and tries to negotiate rent.
Oh no! He's winding up.
Do we need to hide the marmalade again?
Aha! You remember the marmalade. Good. Then you're ready for the tale of.
To be continued. The fire is low, the mugs are empty, and tonight's tale has come to an end. But the journey is far from over. Thank you for gathering with us at Dungeon Brew Coffee Tavern, where adventure brews with every sip. Join us next time as new challenges arise, mysteries deepen, and the magic of the tavern unfolds. If you enjoyed this taste of adventure, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and hit the bell so you never miss a new episode. We'll save a seat for you at the tavern. See you soon.
Now, we have a brief break to hear a word from our sponsor. Plot holes. They lurk in the shadows of your story, waiting to derail your narrative when you least expect it. But don't worry. A Fiction Writer's Guide to Plot Holes by author Anne Snizek is here to help. This handy guide gives you the tools you need to spot, fix, and prevent plot holes before they become a problem. Ready to keep your story airtight? Grab your copy on Amazon today.